Titus, again, thank you for joining us today. Obviously, my first question will involve kind of the big topic right now federally is obviously the talk of impeaching President Trump. Can you talk a little bit about where we are at right now?
Well, all things are on the table, but we know that the president needs to go. He's a clear and present danger to our system of government right now. He could pardon these terrorists. He's got the nuclear button at his disposal. He seems deranged. We don't know what he might do, so he needs to go. There are two things that are happening. One is the 25th Amendment that's calling on the vice president and the cabinet to remove him. We'll vote on that probably tomorrow. And the second is impeachment, and we'll probably vote on that Wednesday.
According to reports out of the Capitol, the preference has been for the 25th Amendment to be pursued first and impeachment as a fallback option. Is that kind of how you've been seeing it, as the events have unfolded since what happened at the Capitol?
Both processes are difficult. I mean, the founding fathers wanted it that way, and that's one of the checks and balances. But if the vice president agrees, the 25th Amendment would be quicker and we could get him out sooner. So that would be preferable.
Of course. As far as the timeline of the impeachment, obviously we were talking about impeachment a year ago, albeit at the time President Trump still had much of his term. President Trump won't be in office in about 9 to 10 days, based on the memo from the Senate. The trial part could drag on through the Biden presidency once he takes office on January 20th. Is there any sort of concern about the timing of it because of where we are at right now?
Well, certainly it's different now because there are only 9 to 10 days left. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do our duty. I swore when I was elected to uphold the Constitution, and that's what we are trying to do. So hopefully it can move faster. If it takes longer, then we don't know what the Senate's going to do. We can't speak for them, but we'll have done our constitutional duty of impeaching him, and that can move quickly. It won't have all the long trial process that it did before because the circumstances are very different, not just the timeline.
Of course, when it comes to impeachment this time, as far as the support for it, we were hearing there might be some GOP representatives considering it at this point, whereas the impeachment about a year ago about the Ukraine controversy, there wasn't as much talk. Do you have a sense that this might be different this time as far as like the thoughts of impeachment than say a year ago?
I do. These articles are drafted very narrowly, just focusing on the call for the terrorists to invade the Capitol, sedition and insurrection. And so I believe that based on what some of my colleagues on the other side of the aisle are saying, that they are beginning to break a little with the president, and hopefully they will do their duty and tell the truth. I mean, you saw that in some of the challenges to the Electoral College vote. Not all the Republicans supported those as we went through the numbers. And now after this riot, this mob has taken place, I think some others are looking at it with a more jaundiced eye.
We've heard some GOP representatives send a letter to Biden, pretty much asking him, for the sake of unity, do not proceed with, the impeachment proceedings. What would be your reaction to those colleagues who say that this could threaten national unity by pursuing impeachment?
How interesting that they want unity now and they haven't wanted it for the last 4 years. What I want, though, is for nothing to interfere with Joe Biden getting his appointments approved, who will head up these cabinet positions, getting vaccines in people's arms, and starting an economic recovery to get us out of this pandemic. So we don't want to interfere with that. We want to support the president moving forward there, but we still have to do our constitutional duty.
As far as something that was brought up by some, senators, albeit this is just specifically not necessarily their own action, but just the process of impeachment. the trial phase and whatnot. Are there concerns, that once Biden takes office on January 20th, that the impeachment could serve as a distraction rather than for President Biden to kind of pursue his agenda, in his beginning days in office? Is there sort of concern right there as well?
Well, it's hard to speculate on what will happen, but I think Biden can walk and chew gum at the same time. So if the impeachment's going on in the Congress, he's still going to move forward very aggressively with his agenda, especially trying to get this pandemic under control.
And we have time for one more question.
Of course, of course. And my last question will actually focus more on, obviously, the talk about federal relief. I'm sure that's something a lot of Nevada residents are probably interested in. What's the potential for that? There is a new administration. You have the new Senate majority with the Georgia runoffs, with Ossoff and Warnock winning. What are your thoughts about getting more federal relief and how that could impact Nevadans in the future?
I support additional relief. I thought we should have gotten $2,000 instead of $600. And Biden has said that he wants to see a robust package. We want to get people back to work. We want to get people feeling safe and secure. We want to be sure that travel and tourism are at the table when we talk about this relief so that we can bring back the economy of Nevada. That will be a priority. I think you'll see it pushed forward in the first 100 days. And with the Democrats in both houses, we have a much better chance of getting something that's really meaningful.